Welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got something that will make you look at your pocket change in a completely different way. What if I told you that three ordinary-looking pennies could actually be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how possible it really is. And you might even have one of these treasures sitting at home right now. Let's talk about a very special coin, the 1992 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it looks just like the millions of other pennies we've all used to buy gum, candy, or just tossed in a jar. But here's the twist. Hidden among those billions are a tiny handful of rare varieties that can make your jaw drop. To understand why this coin is so special, we have to go back to the history of the Lincoln cent. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, this penny was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The front, known as the obverse, carries the famous bust of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust." To the left, liberty. And on the right, the date, 1992. On the back, or reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial so detailed that with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside. But here's where things get really exciting. Not every 1992 penny is the same. The U.S. Mint, while producing millions of these coins, sometimes made mistakes. Tiny slips in the minting process that turned ordinary cents into extraordinary rarities. And coin collectors? They go absolutely wild for these points. One of the most famous is the close AM variety. On normal pennies, the letters A and M in America on the reverse are spaced apart. But on a rare batch of 1992 pennies, those letters are almost touching, hence the name close AM. It's such a small detail, easy to miss, but for collectors, it's a golden ticket. Then there are mint errors. Imagine a double die obverse, where the design elements, like the date or Lincoln's profile, appear doubled because of a mistake in the die engraving process. Some coins might have proof errors, coins struck in a special finish, but with flaws that slip past quality checks. Others may show off-center strikes, where the design isn't aligned properly, leaving parts of the coin blank. Each of these errors turns an ordinary penny into something unique, something rare, and something valuable. Now, here's the part where it gets really suspenseful. Collectors have been finding these rare 1992 pennies in circulation, tucked away in rolls from the bank, or even hiding in old coin jars. Imagine the thrill of pulling out a penny you thought was worth only 1 cent, only to discover it could pay for a vacation, a car, or even more. Yes, these rare coins have been repeatedly making headlines at auctions, where bidding wars drive their prices sky high. And here's the number you've been waiting for, the climax of this coin mystery. A 1992 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny, especially the close AM or rare error variety, can be worth anywhere between $40,000 to $195,000, depending on its condition. That's right, a single penny, the kind you might have right now in your house, could hold life-changing value. So the big question is, have you checked your change lately? That little jar of coins you've been ignoring could be hiding one of these rare treasures. Don't let it slip past you. Get out a magnifying glass, look closely, and who knows? You might just be holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it. If you loved this coin mystery and want to hear more about hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another story. Because here, every coin has a secret, and every secret could be worth thousands. What if I told you that a penny minted in 2012 could be worth thousands of dollars? That's right. A coin most people overlook, spend without a second thought, or leave forgotten in a drawer, has the potential to be a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. The 2012 Lincoln 1-cent coin might look ordinary, but some rare varieties and minting errors have turned this little copper-colored coin into one of the most sought-after modern collectibles. The Lincoln cent has a long and fascinating history, beginning in 1909 when it first replaced the Indian head penny. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, an honor that celebrated his legacy as one of America's greatest leaders. By 2012, the design had evolved, and the reverse now displayed the Union Shield, a strong symbol representing Lincoln's role in preserving the United States during the Civil War. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait remained as iconic as ever, accompanied by "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of mintage. But what makes the 2012 penny so remarkable isn't just its patriotic design. It's the mistakes, those rare minting errors and varieties. that slip through the cracks and end up in circulation. Collectors spend years hunting them down because these flaws are what transform a simple 1-cent coin into something worth tens of thousands of dollars. Among the most desirable are double-die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, the date, or inscriptions appear doubled due to a die misalignment during production. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design doesn't land where it should, leaving a crescent of blank metal that immediately catches the eye. Another type is proof errors, coins meant for collectors that escape the mint with imperfections, making them rarer than rare. And let's not forget the small design variations, like spacing differences in the lettering, which seem tiny but can mean huge differences in value. Now here's where the story gets really exciting. Over the years, several of these 2012 Lincoln cents have appeared at auctions, and the results have shocked even seasoned numismatists. Ordinary-looking coins have gone under the hammer, sparking bidding wars that pushed prices to incredible heights. Imagine pulling a penny out of your pocket, only to later discover it's the same type that collectors fought over in auctions, selling for tens of thousands of dollars. This isn't just speculation. It has happened repeatedly. Auction records prove the demand is real, and every time one of these rare coins surfaces, it reignites the excitement and drives collectors into a frenzy. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. A 2012 Lincoln 1-cent penny, depending on its condition and whether it carries one of these rare varieties or mint errors, can sell for anywhere between $20,000 to $159,000. That's right, a single penny that might be sitting in a jar in your kitchen or rattling in your car cup holder could be worth more than a year's salary. So, the question is, have you checked your change recently? Because that overlooked penny you've been holding on to could be your ticket to a life-changing surprise. Look closely at those 2012 coins, grab a magnifying glass, and don't dismiss what might be hiding in plain sight. The 1998 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin might seem like just another ordinary penny, the kind you toss into a jar at the end of the day or slide across the counter without a second thought. But what if I told you that this very coin, minted in huge numbers in Denver, hides within a mystery that has taken the coin-collecting world by storm? What if, sitting right now in your wallet or coin collection, you had a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's not an exaggeration. It's a reality that has played out again and again at auctions across the country, where rare versions of the 1998 D. Lincoln penny have sold for absolutely jaw-dropping amounts. To understand why this little coin has such a massive impact, we first need to step back in time and explore the story of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny debuted in 1909, created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a historic moment because it was the very first time a real person, an actual American president, was placed on circulating coinage in the United States. The design, by Victor David Brenner, quickly became a national symbol. Lincoln's portrait on the obverse stood as a reminder of his leadership and sacrifice, while the reverse originally displayed 2 wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and growth. Over the decades, the design changed, but the reverence for Lincoln remained untouched. By the time 1998 rolled around, the Lincoln penny had already gone through several major redesigns. In 1959, the reverse switched to the Lincoln Memorial, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That design, with its clean lines and depiction of the monument in Washington, D.C., remained in place through 2008. On the obverse, the portrait of Lincoln continued its legacy, though it was updated to reflect sharper details. For collectors, each year of production carries its own story, and sometimes those stories come with incredible twists that make one year stand out far above the rest. 1998 D was one of those years. Now here's where the magic really begins. At first glance, the 1998 D penny looks like every other Lincoln Memorial cent minted in that era. It's copper-plated zinc, weighs 2.5 grams, and carries the familiar inscriptions. In God We Trust at the top, Liberty to the left, the year 1998 to the right of Lincoln's profile, and the small D mint mark below the date, signifying the Denver Mint. Flip it over, and there's the Lincoln Memorial with United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent proudly displayed. But despite this ordinary appearance, certain 1998 D coins hold secrets, rare varieties, and errors that catapult their value from 1 cent to tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most famous types of valuable errors collectors look for is the double die obverse. Imagine glancing at your penny and seeing parts of Lincoln's face, the date, or the inscriptions slightly doubled, as if the coin had a shadow. This happens when the die, the stamp that presses the coin design into the blank metal, was misaligned during preparation. The result is a striking error that collectors crave, and when a double die penny shows up from 1998, it creates waves in auctions. Another kind of error is the off-center strike. Instead of the design being perfectly centered, the image is pushed toward one edge, leaving part of the coin blank. These off-center strikes are visually dramatic, making them easy to identify and instantly appealing to collectors. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Imagine a penny where Lincoln's head looks like it's sliding off the edge. That could be worth far more than its face value, especially if it comes from the Denver Mint in 1998. Proof errors are another fascinating category. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors, using polished dies and planchets to achieve a mirror-like finish. They aren't supposed to have mistakes, but every now and then, an error sneaks through, creating a proof coin with doubling, die cracks, or other unusual features. If you ever come across a 1998 D penny that looks shinier than normal and carries such a flaw, you may just be holding a treasure. Collectors also pay close attention to small design variations. For example, in the late 1990s, there was significant attention paid to the spacing of the letters in AM on the reverse of Lincoln Memorial cents. Known as the wide AM and close AM varieties, these differences were the result of using the wrong dies. In a close AM, the letters in America are nearly touching, while in a wide AM, there's a clear separation. For 1998, Philadelphia minted coins are more famous for this variety, but Denver examples tied to similar die issues have also raised eyebrows at auctions, leading to bidding battles. And this is where the auction world comes alive. Time after time, when a rare 1998 D Lincoln penny with these errors or varieties surfaces, it sparks excitement among collectors. Auctions become intense, with bidders competing fiercely, driving the price higher and higher. What starts as a penny quickly becomes the centerpiece of an auction room, as specialists and hobbyists alike fight for ownership of a piece of numismatic history. It's these auction stories that give a 1998 D penny its almost mythical reputation. Picture this. A collector casually sifts through a roll of pennies, spotting something unusual. They send it off to be graded, only to discover it's a rare double die or offsetter strike from 1998 D. Soon after, that coin is listed at an auction house. Bidders from across the country gather, their eyes fixed on this tiny copper piece. The bidding starts small, but quickly escalates. $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. The numbers climb until finally, with one last gavel strike, the coin sells for a life-changing sum. Stories like these repeat again and again, turning everyday pennies into auction sensations. For many people, the idea that a 1998 D penny could be worth thousands feels unbelievable. After all, over 5 billion of these coins were minted. How could something so common be so valuable? The answer lies in rarity within the mass production. While billions of coins were struck, only a handful slipped through with the kinds of errors or varieties that collectors hunt. That tiny fraction is what makes them stand out. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, but that needle can fund a dream vacation, a new car, or even pay off debts. The demand is fueled by both casual collectors and serious numismatists. Some people simply love the thrill of the hunt, checking every penny that passes through their hands. Others view rare coins as an investment, knowing that values can climb over time. And auctions provide the perfect stage for this demand to explode, with bidders willing to outspend one another just to secure a piece of history. But what's so fascinating is that this phenomenon isn't limited to wealthy collectors. Ordinary people, students, retirees, workers, have stumbled upon valuable coins and pocket change. The idea that a 1-cent coin, something designed to be nearly worthless in modern times, could transform into a fortune is part of what makes a 1998 D penny so thrilling. The suspense, the stories, the auction battles, they all build to one ultimate truth. Depending on condition, rarity of the variety, and collector demand, the 1998 D Lincoln 1-cent coin has been known to sell for astonishing amounts. At auctions, this coin has repeatedly reached jaw-dropping numbers. The value range? Between $17,000 and $121,000. That's right, from just a penny in your pocket to potentially over $100,000, all depending on whether yours carries those rare, coveted features that SO. The next time you see a penny from 1998 with a little D mint mark, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Look closely. Grab a magnifying glass. Check for doubling. Examine the alignment. Study the spacing of the letters. Because hidden among the billions of ordinary coins, there are a few extraordinary ones that could change your life. And remember, it's not just a fantasy. It's a reality proven in auctions across the country, where people have walked away with fortunes from coins most of us would ignore. So check your change, search through your jars, and who knows? You might just be the next person to turn a 1-cent coin into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars.